K-pop didn't just change music. It engineered it. It built training factories. It built global fan armies. It built billion-dollar entertainment empires. But while K-pop perfected the system, SB19 perfected independence. And that difference, it might shape the future of Asian pop music more than we realize. Today, we're breaking down the biggest industry contrast nobody is talking about. System versus sovereignty. Control versus ownership. Manufactured dominance versus self-built legacy. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why SB19's path might be riskier, but far more revolutionary. Part 1. K-pop perfected the system. Let's give credit where it's due. K-pop is not an accident. It's architecture. Companies like SM Entertainment, YG Entertainment, and JYP Entertainment didn't just create idols. They built a machine. A machine that recruits teenagers, trains them for years, controls their branding, controls their sound, controls their schedule, controls their image, controls their global rollout. This is vertical integration at its finest. When BTS debuted under Big Hit Entertainment, now HYBE, they weren't just artists. They were part of a coordinated ecosystem. Choreographers, in-house producers, global PR teams, merchandising pipelines, fan platform ecosystems. K-pop agencies don't just launch songs. They launch eras. When Blackpink drops a comeback under YG Entertainment, it's synchronized with teaser campaigns, fashion partnerships, global interviews, YouTube rollouts, stadium tours. It's chess, not checkers. And it works. BTS became a Grammy-nominated global act. Blackpink headlined Coachella. Albums debut #1 worldwide. Because the system minimizes risk. If one concept fails, pivot. If one market slows down, target another. If one member struggles, the machine compensates. That's the brilliance of K-pop. It industrialized stardom. Part 2. The cost of the system. But every system has trade-offs. Ownership. Creative freedom. Control over narrative. In K-pop, the company often owns the masters, the publishing, the image, the brand, the decision-making. Artists thrive, but within boundaries. Even global giants like BTS had to renegotiate contracts to gain greater autonomy later in their careers. Because in the system model, you are the product, and the product must align with the brand. Now here's the twist. SB19 didn't reject the system because it failed. They rejected it because they mastered it first. Part 3. SB19 learned the system. SB19 was originally trained under Show BT Philippines, a Korean Filipino company that applied K-pop methodology in the Philippines. Intensive dance training, vocal discipline, performance precision, strict schedules. They didn't skip the hard part. They endured it. But here's what changed everything. They went independent. Through their own company, 1Z Entertainment, SB19 stepped into something far rarer than viral fame. Ownership. Unlike traditional K-pop groups, SB19 members are heavily involved in songwriting, production, creative direction, concept development. Members like Pablo are credited in writing and producing multiple tracks. That's not common in early-stage idol groups. That's CEO energy. Part 4. System versus independence. Let's compare models clearly. K-pop system. High capital investment. High control. Structured training pipeline. Centralized decision-making. Global machine backing. SB19 independence model. Self-funded projects. Creative control. Direct fan engagement. Ownership of direction. Higher personal risk. One is safer. One is sovereign. K-pop is a luxury cruise ship. SB19 is building their own vessel while sailing it. And here's why that matters. Part 5, the global context. We're in an era where artists want ownership. Taylor Swift re-recorded her masters. Western artists fight for publishing rights. Independence isn't just romantic, it's strategic. SB19's model aligns more with modern Western independent artists than traditional idol groups. They're not waiting for a conglomerate to approve their growth. They're engineering it. That means choosing their sound evolution, deciding when to tour, structuring their branding, managing global distribution partnerships. That flexibility is powerful. But it's also dangerous. Because when you're independent, there's no safety net. Part 6, why this is riskier. Independence means if a comeback underperforms, you absorb the loss. If marketing fails, it's on you. If international expansion stalls, you don't have a billion-dollar buffer. K-pop agencies can fund massive pre-debut campaigns. Independent groups must calculate every move, which makes SB19's international achievements even more significant. Because they're not backed by a Korean entertainment giant. They're backed by strategy, fan loyalty, and ownership mindset. Part 7, cultural impact. K-pop exported Korean culture globally. But SB19 represents something different. Proof that the system can be studied, mastered, and adapted locally. They didn't copy K-pop. They localized it. They blended Filipino identity with global production standards. And by doing so, they elevated P-pop beyond novelty status. They showed that Southeast Asian acts don't need to relocate to Seoul to compete globally. That's powerful. Because it decentralizes power. Part 8, why this debate matters. This isn't about competition. It's about evolution. K-pop perfected the centralized idol system. SB19 is experimenting with decentralized stardom. And if their model proves sustainable, future Asian artists might skip the traditional agency route entirely. Imagine artists trained in performance discipline, but launching independently with digital distribution tools. That's disruptive. Because technology now allows direct-to-fan monetization, social media marketing dominance, global streaming access, independent touring logistics. The gatekeepers are weaker than they were in 2010. Part 9, the perception shift. Here's something interesting. When K-pop groups stop doing spontaneous fan interactions or shoutouts, fans often blame arrogance. But it's scale management. The larger the system, the tighter the control. Independent artists, however, can pivot faster. They can adapt to fan culture more organically. That agility is SB19's hidden advantage. They're not navigating corporate layers. They are the layer. Part 10, the future. So what happens next? Scenario 1. The K-pop system continues dominating globally because scale wins. Scenario 2. Hybrid models emerge, agency-trained artists negotiating ownership earlier. Scenario 3. More acts follow SB19's blueprint. Train hard. Study the system. Then build your own. If that happens, we may look back at this era as the moment Asian pop music diversified its power structures. Not abandoned K-pop. Expanded beyond it. Final take. K-pop perfected the system. Precision. Scale. Global branding. Industrial excellence. SB19 perfected independence. Ownership. Creative sovereignty. Risk-taking. Cultural localization. One is a fortress. One is a frontier. And history shows. Frontiers change industries. If you've been watching SB19's moves closely, you're not just watching a group rise. You're watching a case study in artist empowerment. And the real question isn't, can they compete with K-pop? It's, are they building something K-pop never intended to allow? Let me know in the comments. Is the future of Asian pop centralized? Or independent? Because one thing is clear. The system was perfected. But independence, that's still being written. And SB19 is holding the pen.